Your Chinese food.
That's not Chinese food. Chinese food's flat and round with cheese and tomato sauce and a bunch of different toppings.
That's called pizza.
Well, I don't know. I don't speak Chinese.
And welcome back to another episode of the Leo podcast. My name is Josh, and I'm glad to be back with you once again this week, making that intersection between faith and animation and delivering those redundant analogies you've come to know and love. And Rebecca is out this week. We hope that everyone had a great Valentine's Day, and if you're in the South, we also hope that you had a great snow day as well. We've been getting a lot of winter weather down here lately, and as I mentioned last week, we're going to continue on with our romance series, and we talked about a few different aspects of romance. We discussed the unrequited love, the general romance of being in a new relationship and navigating the unknowns with that. Now we're going to discuss a little bit more of a different facet when it comes to romance, and that is chaotic romance. And I was trying to think of, okay, what show or what movie has like chaotic romance or stuff that relies heavily on humor to communicate that. But then I remembered Looney Tunes. We're going to be talking about one of the most chaotic, hilarious, and entertaining romances in animation, in my opinion. And that is between Bugs Bunny and Lola Bunny, particularly in the Looney Tunes series that ran from 2016 to 2018. If you've seen these versions of Bugs and Lola, you know exactly what I mean. Lola in a relationship is all in, 110%, absolutely head over heels for Bugs, while Bugs is just trying to survive her intensity. But what I told you, there is actually a biblical lesson tucked away in all this animated madness. Before we get into the wild romance, let's talk about Looney Tunes itself. This franchise has been around for decades. Originally created by Warner Brothers in the 1930s, it was meant to be a response to Disney's animated shorts. Unlike the more wholesome animated Disney approach, Looney Tunes thrived on slapstick comedy, exaggerated expressions, and fast-paced humor. Characters like Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Porky Pig, and Elmer Fudd became cultural icons, shaping animation for generations. Over the years, Looney Tunes evolved, from the classic theatrical shorts to TV revivals like The Bugs Bunny Show, Tiny Toon Adventures, and the one that we'll be talking about today, The Looney Tunes Show. Each generation put its own spin on the characters. Bugs has remained the unflappable, wisecracking trickster we all know and love. Then there's Lola Bunny. Now, if you remember, this character was first introduced in Space Jam back in 1996. She was a cool, competent athlete, maybe a little bit edgy, and she immediately got Bugs Bunny attention. However, by the time we get to the Looney Tunes show in the early 2010s, and later the reprisal in 2016 to 2018, Lola's character took a complete turn into the high-energy, love-obsessed whirlwind that we'll be talking about today. A quick side note, while we're talking about different iterations over the years for Looney Tunes, does anybody recall Lunatics Unleashed? It was an edgier, futuristic take on the franchise that aired in the mid-2000s. It reimagined Bugs and company as superhero-like characters in a sci-fi setting. It was a bold departure from the traditional Looney Tunes humor, but it showed how the franchise keeps evolving. Certainly it had a time and place, but from what I recall, it wasn't received well by Looney Tunes fans. Just because of that bold departure, it was too much of a departure, in my opinion. And this version of Lola Bunny is a huge departure from her debut in Space Jam. In this series, she's completely unhinged, but honestly, that's what makes her so fun. She loves hard, she commits fully, and she's relentless in her pursuit of Bugs. The problem? Bugs is, well, he's not quite on the same page. He enjoys her company at times, but he also spends just as much time trying to keep her at a safe distance. Their interactions are filled with misunderstandings, over-the-top reactions, and the kind of exaggerated antics that only Looney Tunes can deliver. If you've ever watched an episode from this era, you'll notice how their relationship is both hilarious and exhausting to witness. Lola will go on long-winded rants about their future together, while Bugs gives the audience that classic deadpan stare, silently asking, "What have I gotten myself into?" And yet, for all the chaos, you can tell there is a connection there. He may not always admit it, but deep down, Bugs does care about Lola. He just struggles with how much to handle her relentless energy. When we're talking about Bugs and Lola's relationship, we also have to take into consideration what are the parallels here. This whole dynamic reminds me of Proverbs 19:2. Desire without knowledge is not good. How much more will hasty feet miss the way? Lola's love for Bugs isn't bad. It's just a lot. And it's not always grounded in reality. She gets caught up in how she feels and that she doesn't stop to think if her actions actually help or hinder their relationship. How many times have we seen people, ourselves included, rush into relationships, careers, or even ministry without really stopping to seek wisdom? Passion is great, but passion without wisdom can lead to chaos. Think about it. Have you ever had a friend who rushed into something, maybe a relationship, a big decision, without really thinking it through? Or maybe it was you. We all have our Lola moments. We want something so bad, we get tunnel vision, and we forget to pause, pray, and seek guidance. It's easy to romanticize things in our minds. We build up expectations that aren't necessarily realistic. Lola's enthusiasm blinds her to the fact that Bugs isn't exactly reciprocating on the same level. And we do this too. We get excited about opportunities or people, and we charge forward without considering the consequences. That's why Proverbs warns us about hasty decisions. Without discernment, passion can become reckless. Now, talking on the flip side for just a moment, Bugs isn't totally innocent in all this either. He's a bit too guarded. Sure, Lola's a lot to handle, but Bugs is always avoiding real conversations. He's constantly trying to escape her rather than engage with her. And this reminds me of Psalm of Solomon in chapter 8, verse 4. Do not arouse or awaken love until it so desires. Sometimes we run from love, from relationships, or from opportunities that God places in our lives because we don't want to deal with the responsibility or vulnerability that comes with them. Bugs avoids confrontation, and in doing so, he misses out on a chance to grow, either by setting clear boundaries or by actually investing in the relationship in a healthy way. Again, I just want to mention this is a very chaotic, hilarious, and somewhat messy relationship that they have going on, but it is entertaining nonetheless. While Lola is a lot to handle, she is one of my favorite characters from this era of Looney Tunes. Yes, she's a big departure from her initial debut in Space Jam, but again, this departure added characteristics and a personality that I found really entertaining. I would highly recommend the Looney Tunes Show from the era of 2016 to 2018, and not just for the Lola and Bugs relationship, but also the different characteristics and different scenarios that other people like Daffy Duck, Foghorn Leghorn, and Elmer Fudd, and all other hosts of characters find themselves in. So whether you're a Lola, charging ahead full speed, or a Bugs, dodging commitment at every turn, remember, love, friendships, and even our faith journeys thrive when we balance passion and wisdom. We're called to love deeply, but also wisely, to pursue relationships with enthusiasm, but also with discernment. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode. If you like this episode, go ahead and smash that like button, subscribe if you're not already, and ring the bell for notifications so that you are notified every time we upload a new video. And I've actually been thinking about a new outro, a new slogan here, so tell me what you guys think. And until next time, stay animated and stay faithful.